Coming to the problems regarding measuring of national income, we can see that there are several problems. The first one is exclusion of non-marketed goods. That means if the good is non-marketed and if it is not brought to market and sold in the market or transacted in the market against money, it will not be included in national income. But we know that there are certain commodities, or there are fraction or portion of commodities which are used by the farmers or by the producers themselves. So that part is not included in national income. And there is exclusion of non-monetized sector. There is a sector for which we cannot evaluate the activities in terms of money, such as household activities by the females or even the males. So those activities are excluded from national income accounting. And there is environmental degradation. We all know that so much of concern is there in today's world regarding environment. Now in the production process, we are polluting the environment, we are degrading the natural resources. Now normal estimation procedure or normal GDP do not take into account such things. National income also does not consider leisure. Now we cannot evaluate leisure. If one chooses to go for relaxation, or if one chooses leisure over income effort or over working, that means he or she has enough money, but leisure is not accounted for in national income estimation. And there is transfer payments and capital gains. We know that these are excluded in national income. When we are receiving transfer payment from the government, it is excluded in national income. But if you are receiving it from abroad, we know it will be included in our GNP as net factor income from abroad. But there is again double countings problem. It has to be taken care of very seriously, because we know that there are several commodities which are resold and value added at several stages. So double counting has to be avoided. It's a huge problem. And there is lack of reliable data. Now this problem comes from the survey also, about which we will learn later on. So the data from which we inferred about the valuation of national income, it is not itself a very reliable one, you can say. Now there is valuation of underground economy. There are several works and incomes related to those works which are not reported to any government authorities. So those incomes and those economic activities actually violate every government law, or actually surpass every government laws, taxation and all that, but they are being used alongside us in the common economy or in the normal economy, you can say. This is also known as parallel economy. Now having a guess about underground economy is a problem, because we do not know how much of money is not being reported to the government, or how much of money's tax is not paid to the government but being used. And then there is problem of valuation of inventories. We know how valuation of inventories is treated in the national income, or we know how inventories are treated while estimation of national income. But if there is stock of inventory, and if there is inflation or deflation, it creates appreciation or depreciation in the value of inventories. Now there are two usual methods which are being used. The first one is evaluating inventories at market price. Now in case of evaluating inventories at market price, if there is appreciation or if there is a rise in the price level, a notional profit, or you can say an imputed profit, is assumed to be included there, whether they are realized or not in that year. But when you are using factor cost method, which is the second one, then the imputed profit or notional profit is not included or not calculated while evaluation of inventories. Now these are the few problems. Apart from these problems, there are several other problems about which you will get a study material also. Now the question comes that whether we should think of using national income and its related identities such as GDP, per capita income, which is expressed as national income of a certain year divided by population of that year, whether we should consider these indices as index of welfare. Now there are certain issues that distribution is not reflected by these indices. They do not reflect the actual distribution of income. It may happen that GDP or per capita income is quite high, but there are huge sections of population which are living below poverty line, because income is not evenly distributed. So distribution of income has to be taken into account. And then just previously discussed, non-marketed goods, non-monetized economic activities are excluded. In case of GDP or in case of per capita income or national income, or in every case they are excluded, since they do not come into national income, so they do not go in the calculation of per capita income as well. And environmental degradation is neglected. So as a solution, we know that in the 1992 Rio conference, the use of green GDP was suggested, about which you will get a study material in detail. And ISEW, which is a part of green GDP, that is sustainable economic welfare, that is index of sustainable economic welfare, has been suggested to be used, and India has also agreed to use it by 2015. And then quality of life, goods and quality of life, quality of goods and services, these are neglected in case of GDP. So whether we should consider GDP or per capita income as an index of welfare is an issue or is a cause of concern. But we know that in reality GDP is uh, generally used as an index of welfare, or is a very popular index for measuring welfare. You can say per capita income is also quite a popular one. Growth of national income is also quite a popular one. But these things are needed to be adjusted in order to get a real picture, or in order to get a more true picture of that. For these parts also, I suggest Professor Soumen Sikdar's book and Professor Ghosh and Ghosh's macroeconomics book. For chapter 2 from each of these books you have to study. And from this video also you will have 2 study materials. You will get this PowerPoint presentation, and along with that you will have 2 or 3 study materials, and there will be a case study to be solved, and lastly there will be questions. So this brings us to the end of the uh, video lectures regarding national income, and along with that you will be provided study materials, case studies and related questions. Thank you very much, and for any problem you can always contact me. Thank you very much.